Kayok. On this video, I said I was going to share some pictures with you. These are some old pictures, and I just wanted to show you some pictures of us Indigenous people, as well as some historical documentation about us as well. And the first thing I want to do is show you a picture. This picture here. Let's say you were in a store and you saw him walking, and maybe he dropped his wallet, but you couldn't catch him in time. So you went up to the front desk at customer service to see if they could possibly contact him from the information in his wallet. Only problem is there's no ID in there. So the person at customer service says, could you describe his face? You said you saw him before. Could you please describe him? Now, some of you would probably say, the first thing you would probably say, he's a black man, yay tall, right? That's how you would probably describe him. Well, this is Mr. Woody Strode. He was Cherokee, he was Creek. He was also an actor. If you look up information about him, for those who did not know him well, they may describe him as black, African American, and I've actually seen some reports from way back when they described him as negro, because that's what they called us as well. But like I said, this is Mr. Woody Strode. I'm going to show you an article that has a little bit of a write-up about him. And this was when he was getting ready to compete in the decathlon. So here's the article. Dave Anderson writes about athletes with good and bad timing in the decathlon. Less known was the expected duel for the gold medal in the 1936 decathlon between two Californians, Woody Strode, the great black American Indian, and the great white hope, Glenn Morris. So this was an article about him. Now, this is a picture of Mr. Strode in his old age, and this is a picture of him in a role that he played in a movie. Now, you should ask yourself, why would they have him playing the part of an American Indian? Because that's who he was. Now I want to show you, this is the definition of the N-word that you will find in the Oxford English Dictionary. Now I always suggest that you look, that you refer to very old books. And this is before they started to try and replace the truth with their lies. So if you look up the N-word, let's go down to number 3. Now, the way they're trying to define it nowadays is not going to wash. But they have here a dark-skinned person of any origin. BS. Bullsh. However, in early U.S. usage, it was usually with reference to American Indians. And you see how Mr. Strode was just described in that article about him. I want to show you this little snippet from a book. Britain in 20 minutes. This is a page, one of the page from it. Let's start from the very top. He is going way down south to sunny South Dakota, in fact, to see the genuine Native American darkies, the real Yankee blackamoors. So even they recognize that we Moors are who? Native American, American Indian, Indigenous. In their own book, they refer to us as blackamoors down in South Dakota, Native American darkies. I'm going to show you a picture from a really old book of an original Sioux. This is a page that was torn out of this book. I don't know which book it came from, but at the bottom it says the Sioux in South Dakota. And you see how he's dressed. Now I'll show you, I think this is a flyer. It may be a playbill. You can see the N-word at the top. Of course, it was produced by the Caucasoid. That nasty little copper-colored coon. See, these are the bywords and little names they had for us. And this one's a picture. This is from a book that was written by Maynard Dixon. And the title is Injun Babies. Stories and drawings. And how do those children look? Like your children? Like our children? Now, how many of you remember the crayon that was in the Crayola box? And the color was Indian red. I remember that because I had that color in my box. It was a huge box of Crayola crayons, and that color was in there. But this is a picture of it. Somebody still had it. Somebody still had a box of those crayons, and they kept it, and they had that color. They took a picture of it. Now, some of you or one of your relatives who was a Boy Scout may still have the old Boy Scouts of America pin that featured the profile of Chief Cornstalk. This is an old Boy Scouts of America pin. But notice his hair, because someone wanted to know, what do we call our hair? Okay, his hair is just like our hair. And you saw the picture of Mr. Strode as well. I'll show you in the language dictionary what we call our hair. Okay, so one of the words that we use for our hair when it's not processed with any chemicals or has not been permanently altered is kappa. Okay, that's what we use. The word is kappa. There are different verb forms that we use. And so they have kappa. And they also have kop here. But we don't say kop. We say it a different way. But it basically refers to our hair when it has not been chemically processed or permanently altered. When it's still in its natural state. Now, the word that they have here for canopy is also the word we use for our hair, kupa. And we have another form called kupawa. And some of you may pronounce it as kipawa. But it's raise your hand if you used to get your hair straightened with a hot comb. I did. Of course, our people invented those tools, and we've been straightening our hair for generations. I know there's something that we use that our ancestors put in our hair, to straighten it. And it would make it like super, super wavy and really, really shiny. I still know how to make that. But like I said, the word is kipawa. And we use that expression because when they're stretching out your curls and they're putting a hot comb on it to stretch it out or straighten it, they blow on it. Remember how they would blow on it? Right at the area where they would have the comb, to keep the heat and the steam, from burning your scalp. Of course, in our language, we use the word poa. All right. So in reference to our hair, we say kapoa for hair that's been straightened with heat. So those are the words that we use for our hair. We do not call our hair afro. Those are terms that are from Hamites. We're not Hamites. But, for those who are wondering. So that's the picture of Chief Cornstalk. That's his hair. And it looks like it's in its natural state as well. And I also want to share this one with you. I've been contacted by some of you who live down in Central America and wanting to know if you're related to me. And I said, there's a 99.999% chance you are. A man by the name of Peter Martyr wrote about so-called Negroes. This is how he referred to my people, and this is how they referred to us back in the day, living in Central America before the introduction of slavery, and says, these were the first Negroes seen in the Indies. Now, at the bottom, someone put a note down here. The Costa Chicans say they are not, they insist, the descendants of African slaves. There was never slavery here, even in ancient times. They say their ancestors did not come from Africa. They've always been here. Of course we have. This is our land. Now, this one I really wanted to show you all, because sometimes I get some of the craziest comments from people who are just so angry that I would dare say Mongols invaded the Americas. Let me say something to you. You're either a liar, and you know it, when you claim Mongols never invaded the Americas, or you really are that ignorant. Either way is really sad. But this is from a very old text, and it's entitled Conquest of Peru and Mexico in the 13th century by the Mongols. I'm going to give some more details on here. You also don't have to look very far to see for yourself that Mongolia is not in the Americas. And this is a picture of some adorable little ones, some young ones over in the Amazon. Okay, these indigenous children. And I'll show you a picture from the Shinnecock powwow, because you've heard me talk about, Shinnecock as well. It's from 1964. And this is from the collection of the Suffolk County Historical Society. But it's a picture from one of their powwows. I used to make these baskets when I was a child. I used to love making these. It was so fun. So that's all. I just wanted to share some of those images with you. I hope you enjoyed looking at them. And I am now accepting pre-orders for the Ten Commandments book. And I'll put the link to the website right under this video. And thanks again for listening.